Oh, hey, good evening, guys. Welcome to another phenomenal edition of the Ghost and the Goat. I'm sorry, I do another podcast that involves beer. I'm sniffing a beer as the show comes on. Of course, I'm thinking about beer. This is the Ghost and the Ghost. How the Ghost and the Goat. However, I'm your host, Buddy Thayer, paranormal investigator, welcoming you to join me into a world of paranormal things. Like, Buddy? What kind of paranormal things might I see on the Ghost and the Goat? Well, let me tell you, we have a lot of ghost people. I'm a ghost guy. It shows it right over here. It's down there. I can't point like that. Whatever. We have like little alien stuff. We'll have tonight joining us from the great state of Massachusetts. Not as great as Rhode Island, of course, but from the Commonwealth, just to the north. We have a Bigfoot guy, kind of cool. I've been kind of like saying, hey, I need a Bigfoot. I need some Bigfoot people out here. Hey guy, thanks for tuning in, kid. And my prayers were answered. Tonight we're going to be joined by a Bigfoot guy himself. So I look forward to that. This is another show where I tend to pepper in a little bit of sports. You see in the my intro, I have a guy named Brendan Francis. Brendan hasn't podcasted with me for some time. He had some personal stuff, and he went and did personal stuff, which, God bless. Whatever you got to do, brother. But we initially started this as a half sports, half paranormal. So we both brought that onto the table. I'm like I said, I'm a paranormal investigator, and he is a sports guy, and I'm also, as you may or may not know, a beloved fan of the Boston Red Sox, which I'll get into probably more when my guest comes on, because being from the great state of Massachusetts, he also finds himself to be a Red Sox fan or a fan of baseball. Maybe have you these days. Depends on how September ends, I guess. But tonight, before I have tonight's guest on, I'm going to talk a little bit about the NFL and the comings and the goings. Actually, I'm just going to give you the week 4 picks. I had 14 wins last week. I've had 13 wins. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Just guys, not like, oh, buddy, I don't understand. Like point spreads. This isn't point spreads. This is what they call the money line. You just pick who's going to win, who you think's going to win, and that's all I'm going to really share with you. If you've paid attention to any of my shows, any of these broadcasts that I do, any of the talk that I do about football, it's generally despondent. I'm a Dolphins fan. We are 0-3 to start off this year. Doing great. We got beat by the Buffalo Bills last week on Thursday Night Football. While they put up a little bit of a fight, they still lost. My bets have been brutal. My bets have been brutal too, dude. Pretty brutal. I've won a few parlays this past weekend. Got a little bit of play money to play with. It happens. We don't endorse gambling here on the Ghost and the Goat. But it's, if you got $5, see how good you are. And toss it on a parlay. Whatever. Maybe you win, maybe you lose, but it's only $5 either way. And then just call it quits. That's what Buddy does. Okay, hey Kurt, thanks for tuning in, brother. I'm just gonna give you guys my run of the picks. And I'm expecting my guest sometime around 8:20. I also have a new co-host. I'm going to bring her on. We'll just talk football, and then we'll bring on the paranormal people. Okay, so starting this week, Thursday Night Football features the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Arizona to face the Cardinals. Last week, the Seattle Seahawks scored 44 unbelievable points. They played New Orleans. New Orleans is terrible. New Orleans isn't doing anything. Seattle's doing some things. Arizona, while they have good pieces on offense, their defense isn't really too lackluster. They lost like 15-14 or 16-15 against Mac Jones, leading the San Francisco 49ers. Mac Jones. I don't know. So, I would go Seattle all day, guys. Minnesota travels to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, while they beat the New England Patriots are not a good football team. They turned over the ball 5 times. Five times. Once in the end zone. Drake May, the next coming of Tom Brady, probably not. Got intercepted. He got a little too flustered. He got intercepted in the end zone. Ramondre Stevenson fumbled the ball twice. Pittsburgh really didn't have to do much. Aaron Rodgers, in his old age, is really just kind of limping over the field and hoping that he doesn't tear another ACL. And he was able to skip back past the Pats at Gillette, 21-14. But in this game, he's not going to skip. He's not going to skip past nobody. Minnesota's going to come at him hardcore on defense. They're not going to do shit. Minnesota's going to, yeah, Jalen Ramsey, while he's good, he's only one man. Expect Minnesota to win this one. I don't know what the points are. Just, win or loss, guys. Washington travels to Atlanta while Atlanta got blown up last week, I think, by Carolina, who's another shitty football team. They're looking to bounce back because they have a decent football team. Washington's being led by Marcus Mariota. I don't believe Jalen Daniels is back. He's got a hell of a team around him. He really doesn't have to do very much but throw the ball to one of his guys who can catch the ball and can run really fast. So I go with Washington any day and all day against Atlanta. Another team I would pick any day and all day for most of the season. They show they can shoot it out against the big guns. The Buffalo Bills are hosting the New Orleans Saints. As I said earlier in the pick sequence here, the New Orleans Saints are shit. So they're going to take their shit and they go to Buffalo and get schooled. Buffalo's a lovely city. I traveled there last season, week 10, to see my terrible Dolphins go there and lose. But they were a lovely host city, and their beer is tremendous. So if you have the chance to head out to Buffalo, do it, because this is going to be a game where everybody is going to be drunk by the end of the first quarter, because it's going to be one of those blowouts, I'm sure. A game that I thought was going to be a huge blowout last week ended up being an upset. The Cleveland Browns totally destroyed. No, they didn't destroy. I think it was like 13-10, but they destroyed the Green Bay Packers, who were like 2-0, riding high, beating real teams. Suddenly they go to Cleveland and they forget who they are. Terrible. Cleveland's not going to do the same this week. They traveled to Detroit. Detroit is a real deal. They lit up the Baltimore. Well, they didn't really light them up. It was 38-30. It was a shootout. It was a point fest on last Monday Night Football. Expect them to do the same. Cleveland's not doing anything. Shame on you, Green Bay. Shame on you. G does not stand for great. Tennessee, speaking of not great, Tennessee Titans, they travel to Houston, take on the Houston Texans. Houston Texans, while their defense is really holding them together in any of the games that they're in, was it Schwab? He's doing shit this season so far for Houston. I think they only got 1 or 2 wins. I don't know. It's only week 4 though, guys. So it's still obviously early. My cousin Kim, she's a Houston Texans fan. Kim, they're not the New England Patriots. Speaking of New England Patriots, they host this week. They host a chance at a win as they welcome the abysmal Carolina Panthers, who aren't good at anything except having upset wins in week 3. I would pick New England all day. I expect Drake May to be run until his guts fell out during practice this week. Mike Vrabel is done playing games with these kids. It's time to go old school, hardcore defensive guy coach on these kids and make them play some real football, Mike. Because your Patriots suck, but I expect them to bounce back and get at least 2 wins this week against the Panthers. The LA Chargers travel to New Jersey to take on the Giants. The Chargers are an awesome football team. The Giants just lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, giving them their first win of the season last week on Monday Night Football. The Giants have Russell Wilson, and they sucked last week. So Russell Wilson got benched. And Jackson Dart, the rookie, is going to start this week against the LA Chargers. Yeah, that probably won't last too long. Take the Chargers all day. The Philadelphia Eagles, who had an amazing comeback last week against the LA Rams, visit Tampa Bay this week, who barely beat the Jets last week, I think. Tons of penalties. Their offense is stellar when they're on, but when they're not on, their offense is, penalized and pull back and don't score. And you need to not score against the Philly Eagles, because the Eagles are going to tush push. They're going to run down your throat. They're going to throw the ball all over the field. Jalen Hurts can run. He's magical with his hands and his fingers. The way he throws the ball. No pun intended. I would take the Eagles on this one as a win or lose, as a money line, if you will. The points, depends what the point spread is. The Indianapolis Colts, while they've gotten this attention by week 4 because they're suddenly 3-0. They're 3-0 against 3 shit teams. Let's be realistic here. They traveled to Los Angeles to take on the Rams, who is not a shit team, who was kicking the hell out of the Eagles last week until the 4th quarter when their defense lost out and I don't know what happened. They gave away 27 points in like one quarter. That was absolutely erroneous. But they won't do that against Daniel Jones in the Indianapolis Colts. Pick the LA Rams all day. San Francisco, I don't know if they're being led by Mac Jones this week. I don't think it would matter because they're playing Jacksonville Jaguars, who, Trevor Lawrence. Dude, you're not a good quarterback. You're gonna be someone's backup in like 2 seasons. They're terrible. They can't get anything going. They're the next Miami of Florida. They're just like lining up for next year's draft class. Yeah, that's what I'm just thinking about Archie Manning next year. Anyway, I digress. The game after that, so I would pick San Francisco in that game. Game after that, which would have been a great game last year around this time, features the Kansas City Chiefs, who just got their first win against the Giants last week, are hosting the Baltimore Ravens, who are, while they've lost two games this season so far, they're 1-2. They've lost to like some seriously great football teams, the Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills. The Baltimore Ravens are all that in the bag of chips. Kansas City sucks. Whoever ever, and as much as I hate Tom Brady, Gronkowski. I hated those years. I give them the devil their dues, right? They can play a fiddle of gold against your soul, but they're not better. They're so better than so. There's no. It's not even in. They shouldn't be even in the same conversation as Tom Brady and Mahomes and Kelsey and Gronk. There's no guys. You're not even halfway there yet. All right, just please. Make me sick in my mouth all over again. All right, so Chicago, I would pick Baltimore all day. The next game, Chicago had a great upset last week against Dallas, who is one of the shittiest teams in football. They traveled to Las Vegas, who is the shittiest team in football. I don't know. Maybe the Titans. I don't know. There's a lot of shitty teams in football this season so far. Las Vegas is one of them. They have no O-line. They have Pete Carroll, dude. You got to start everything all over again. You got to cut everybody and just build a new team, dude, because the Raiders are poop. I'm going to say, go Chicago. I think Chicago can. I think they can do something. Green Bay Packers are definitely going to do something as they travel with Dallas. Like I said, Dallas is poop. Jerry Jones is like the reason I hate the Dallas Cowboys. That ego, that his face. There's something about his face, his ego, his the way he carries himself. The fact that like they were dubbed America's team in like 1994. I was sick about it then. Now, like 20 plus years later, I hate Dallas maybe as much as I hate the Patriots. Probably more because I actually like Bill Belichick. But that's a different story altogether. I digress. Green Bay all day against Dallas. All day. Everything. Point spread, over, under. All the little bets you can make. Dallas is terrible. They have no defense. Green Bay has a monstrous offense that didn't show up against Cleveland. Anyway, I digress. The New Jersey Jets, there's a doubleheader on Monday night, which makes me thrilled because my team, which is the Miami Dolphins, actually have a slender of a chance to win as the New Jersey Jets travel to Miami. Another piss poor team in the NFL this year so far, the Jets and the Dolphins. Maybe we can win. While the Patriots, we kind of like held, we lost against the Patriots, but I don't know. We kind of held up against the Bills a little bit. I don't know. Maybe we'll beat the Jets. Maybe we'll get win one. Maybe we'll just tank and go over 16 guys, and we'll get Archie Manning in the first round of the pick and get rid of Tua and fire Mike McDaniel. Yeah, I get rid of Chris Greer. Trade Tyreek Hill and get a few good draft picks from. I don't know. Anyway, and the second game is the Cincinnati Bengals. They don't have a quarterback. Joe Burrow's gone. Jamar Chase can't. I don't know. Brownsville or whatever the backup guy's name is. He's terrible. They could travel with Denver. I think Denver will win this one. Bo Nix will show everybody that Bo's back and that Bo definitely knows football. So those are my picks this week, guys. I don't know if you like what I picked. Maybe put some money. If not, then don't blame me when I don't know. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's just what I think. That's what I think. So check that out, guys. Where are we at? 8:18. All right, here we go. Okay. I got my co-host this week and every week from here on out. So I'm a paranormal investigator. She's a paranormal survivor. This girl grew up in the awful state of Ohio, and that's probably why she was played by a ghost, because I mean, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Well, you think of Ohio. I'm sorry, I'm not going off on Ohio. She's from the lovely state of Ohio, home of the Football Hall of Fame and the beautiful city of Cleveland, Ohio. Please welcome to the show. She's probably got a ton more accolades. I probably introduced her a whole lot better than I am. But please welcome to the show, my co-host, Jai.
Hello.
Hey, how you
How
doing?
you do? I'm doing good. How are you?
So good. So please tell us about yourself, just in short. I probably sold you short completely. And your lovely state of Ohio. So please, just give me a 5-minute blip about yourself. Go ahead.
I grew up in a haunted house for 14 years.
Hmm.
Then after that, I traveled extensively to different states, and I ended up in California. And in California, I was a personal assistant, and I was a music producer, and I worked with Lemmy from the rock group Motorhead.
Nice.
And up until he passed away, rest in peace. After he passed away, I ended up moving back to Ohio
Hmm.
to take care of my mother.
Hmm. Cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Joining us this evening. Now I've said it for weeks. I'm like, give me a Bigfoot guy. Give me somebody who's goes out there and looks for Bigfoot, because I want to know more. It's not that I don't believe in Bigfoot. It's just I've never seen anything beyond that video, which I'll show you guys in a little bit if you haven't seen it. If you haven't, good Lord, if you haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been. But hold on, let me prepare this. I have something prepared here. So tonight's guest, he's the host of Bigfoot Banter with Richie B, and he's a co-founder of the BOTG, Boots on the Ground Investigations. His name is Richie B. Richard Breault. He's the Richard Breault. I don't know why I just kept saying that. And he's been researching Sasquatch activity in the legendary Bridgewater Triangle region in scenic Massachusetts for over a decade. It all began in his own backyard with strange bipedal movements at night, tree knocks, vocalizations, and unexplained tree breaks while I sat by the fire pit. And that was just the beginning. So we're just going to bring him out on the show. I'm sure he can tell us. I don't need to read about him. He's just going to tell us about him. Please welcome Richie B.
Hey,
how you doing, dude?
What's
Hey,
up, dude?
welcome.
Thanks for having me. How are you? How do you say your name, Jai?
Jai, yes, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, pleasure.
Excuse me.
No need. Pleasure.
Choked
Thanks for
on my
having me.
words.
Thanks for coming out, Richie. Right away, I worked in Bridgewater, so right away I pick up on that Massachusetts, that northern accent. Oh my God, that's tremendous.
Park the car in the Harvard yard.
Yeah,
You know,
That's right.
and you know what the funny thing is? It's you talk about the van down by the river, right?
Yeah.
In our research area, we name locations so we all understand it, and my live audience could know where we're at when we're out in the woods, even at nighttime. And one of the areas we named the Farley. Because it's down by the river.
Down by the river.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Well, this like podcast channel took birth with my original co-host Brendan. He was from Fall River, and we worked together in the area. We called it the Riv, so van down by the Riv,
Oh yeah.
I'm a fat kid. He's from the Riv, just kind of made sense, I guess. But that's how it was birthed. But
I also lived in Fall River.
Yeah, good times in Fall River.
Yeah.
Lovely city, lovely culture there in Fall River.
Yeah, definitely fun.
So, Rich, tell me, you've been doing your podcast for how long? How long have you been?
December 3rd will be 2 years.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Cool. And how long have you been into Bigfoot research and Bigfoot?
Well, I mean, for me, it's been about a decade, and the first 8 years, I didn't say nothing to nobody. I kept it completely secret what I was going through. A very small circle, like people that basically lived at the house. I mean, I had to kind of let them know because it was going on in the backyard. What's up, Sam? Can I say hi to everybody? Gene and Sparky's here. I saw Wojo. Wojo's my co-host on my show.
Oh yeah.
And my fellow researcher. He's unbelievable. He's just a great dude, unbelievable researcher, and I couldn't have had a better pick for a co-host than him. I'll tell you that, man, because we jive pretty well together. So. So I kept it quiet for like 8 years. I didn't say nothing to nobody. I had kids growing up there, and you know, I didn't want to deal with the ridicule and the crap that
Yeah,
comes
right,
along.
right.
You know, if the paranormal world has it too. My
Right.
first love was paranormal. I had a paranormal team for like a decade. It was my family.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
No shit, huh?
my sister, my brother-in-law, my nephews, nieces, you know. And it's funny because you find a lot of your techniques kind of mix in with the paranormal, right?
So I'm a ghost guy. I don't do. I mean, paranormal is kind of like almost like a big umbrella, kind of includes it all. I'm only a ghost guy. I do go in the woods, but for other reasons. I don't hunt, but I mean, I love hiking and all that stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
How do you, what can you tie one in with the other?
Well, I mean, some of the equipment that you use, you know, obviously I use a recorder, and we've gotten some really good recordings. And not only that, when you're out there, you're time stamping sometimes, you know, because we have planes go overhead or trains go overhead, and it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh, that was me stepping on the floor and it creaked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not 3 hours later going, what was that noise? You know what I mean? it was just your foot, dude. Settle down. You know, and the whispering's the worst. Is whispering not the worst on the recorder? Like at 3 a.m. and you have that goddamn. Would you just shut up? You know what I mean? Because 3 a.m. you're over there listening. You're like,
oh, dude.
What was that?
I tell people right at the onset, whatever you do, don't whisper.
Yeah, whisper.
Just don't whisper. I'm going to give you anyway. Don't whisper.
Whispering's the worst. So yeah, there's actually a lot of techniques that you can use, you know, and we've been in situations where we've been very, very close to them, and we've talked. You know, we talk to them, and it's the same as like when you're out there doing ghost research and paranormal research, you know, and you're like, okay, I see you. Thank you very much. Thank you for doing that. I know it takes a lot of energy. You know, maybe not the same exact words,
right?
But nonetheless a technique, right, that you use in both, you know. So we've been in a situation. My backyard when it all started, one of the first times I got flanked. I've been flanked many times. Flanked is usually two or more. And one of the first things you do is for me was to show my hands and put my palms up. I didn't realize later on as I developed as a researcher how important that position would be, because I have a very good friend of mine, Ernie Davio, who's had amazing experience, and they use hand signals to him. That's how close he was. He was right there with them. And and he talks about a lot of his hand signals and stuff. So when he told me, he goes, "Oh, you put your hands up like that?" I said, "Yeah, it was like a natural reaction, you know." And he says, "Well, that's a good thing." And then he told me why. So I've been in a few situations where, you know, Wojo, same thing. You know, we kind of talk to them and let them know that we're there as friends, and we have
all right.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Actual physical beings, or are we talking something spiritual? Because I've heard both. We're talking about Bigfoot.
Yeah, you know, that is always a conversation. So for me, at this point, because my research has evolved so much, when I was, you know, outside and I'm hearing physical bipedal walking, I'm hearing physical bipedal breaking of trees and branches, and most of it was in the daytime. Mm-hmm. And my land is about 3 acres, and it abuts 94 acres of conservation, and about a mile up there's a river. Yeah. So and everything bottlenecks to my property. So you have to kind of know where you're going or live on the border of it. Yep. And all the years that I had been there before I started really paying attention, I had never seen like a neighbor or anybody out there. And then when it was 10 o'clock at night and I heard walking around and snapping, I was like, where's the headlamp? Where's the flashlight? And there was nothing. You know what I mean? So, so for me, it was physical. Is my point. You know, it was a physical thing. When I had, I'd go out there and I'd hear a tree knock. You know, that to me, that's a physical thing. So it was all about physical. What kind of physical? I was open-minded to. Mm-hmm. And then when I had my first big event that I basically kind of put myself as a researcher at that point is when I was raking around the fire pit. It was about 2 p.m, late September, early October. Mm-hmm. And there's a game trail, and then there's an open area, and then there's this nothing but just dense hardwoods, man. And in that open area between it, there's like a thicket like 12 feet high, and it's just all these different types of growth, different types of trees, say, right? Little saplings mixed in with briars and thorns or whatever you call it. Prickers for my friends down south. And I was raking, and I hear this one big pull. I hear it was a snap of a tree, a fresh tree, and it went right through my body. Just I look up like this. I'm looking around, and as I see this one thing move. It was a like an elm or an oak tree, and it was about 40 feet high, and it was probably about, I think we measured it like 12 inches diameter fresh, and it just came down in one pull, and I sat there and I was frozen. And as a man, I was afraid. I definitely had 100% had fear in my body. It was going that shake where you can't really grab it, you know. And my first reaction was, because I had been dealing with the little subtleties for a long time. So I grabbed my phone and I went up to my fence and I said, "Come on, where you at?" Like I was just done, kind of like, show yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And through that thicket, which is about where I'm standing, it's about 40 feet away, say, you know, give or take. And through that thicket, I hear like that come back at me.
Jeez.
And I got it on my phone. And of course, it's a little bit muffled on the phone. It's not as what I heard. When I heard it, it hit me right in the heart, man. I was like, boof, what? And my first senseless male gene reaction is to discuss, you know, respect with one another and who owns what. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be over here. You respect me. You're over there. I respect you. And then I remembered you were raised by your mother. Women live longer than men. Listen to your mother. So I started backing up, and it hit me really hard that I had just put something physical with what I had been hearing all this time, along with this tree snap and tree pull.
Jesus.
And I backed out to the middle of my grass, and I had about an acre fenced in, and I backed out towards the road where I felt safe. And I called my buddy down south and I said, "Dude, I'm going to send you a recording." And he was a preacher down south. And I said, "I need you to ask God a few questions for me, because I got a question. I don't understand what's going on in my woods." And he knew about all the little events that had happened leading up to this. I always called him. But yeah, he stood in amazement as well. So that from that point on, again, a physical type event, right? So I'm still on your question, but it's just a very complex question.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
That evolves with your research. So as we went on, we would see these oddities that would happen. For instance, with Wojo, we've seen like the self-illuminating eyes, right? The woo part of this, right? The woo, as they call it, the woo of Bigfoot, right? I wasn't having any of this stuff. I was like, no. This is a bipedal creature. He lives on Earth. And then I started kind of opening up to, wait a minute, this is more of a primitive human that's on a higher frequency than us.
Yeah.
And I have friends of mine that are psychic mediums and stuff like. They're on different frequencies. They're on a higher frequency, and they have different abilities. So why can't this being be on an even higher frequency and have more abilities?
Yep.
So then I started opening my mind up to the possibilities of all these other. Am I at the dimensional and all and the orbs and the lights thing yet? I'm not there yet because I haven't lived through it. But my research has kind of brought me to where I am as well. So that's probably next week. Our area is crazy, so it's probably next week. You know.
So while you're out there in the vegetation, do you run into other cryptids?
Great questions, because these are things that we've had conversations about, and everybody knows on my live, we go YouTube live when we do our investigations. Matter of fact, we'll be doing it Friday and Saturday this weekend. It's called Daytime, Dusk, and Darkness. And we go out there in the daytime just as it sounds, and then it hits dusk when everything's more active, and then it's darkness where things get really wild. Like, it's wild, and you got to watch them on YouTube really to understand what we go through out there. There's a lot of fear involved, you know. And but yes, there's a bad word. It's all right, Andy. Really? That's the word. That's the word. That's
Starts
the word.
with a D.
Oh, yep, starts with a D. I'm like, don't even say the D word. You know,
Dropped it immediately.
yeah, they know how to get me. These guys know how to get me, right? And but these guys are part of our team, by the way. A lot of the people that you see on the side come out on the YouTube live, and they're researchers. They're virtual researchers. They have their headphones in, they watch it on the TV. Hey, Richie, I think I saw that they take clips. Sparky
Awesome.
is awesome. He'll go back and roll it back. Go, hey, I got that knock, dude. I got it. It's in the team messenger. Boom. So we have an extensive team that goes on. But yes, we believe that there is other cryptids out there. We have elder, Medicine Bear Claw. She is a big part of our team. She's from the Blackfoot tribe, and she lives in California.
Yep.
So she's amazing, and she guides us in the Native American way. So we have words that we learned from her that we can use. We call them the Satanya, Sabe, things like that. We Tansi, one of the other ones I learned from another one of our guests was Akoi, meaning peace and all that. So we have all these different methods that we use, but we do believe, she believes, and a lot of other people believe, and I still am fighting it, that the Satanya run with Dogman, and they're not really the enemies that people draw. See, you have to understand with this, a big scary Bigfoot brings in a lot more, curiosities, right?
Right.
I don't feel unsafe when I'm out there. Yeah, I get fear, absolutely. But if they wanted to rip me apart, they could have done it a decade ago when I was out in my backyard flanked by 3 of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I knew at the moment when there was 3 of them and I had my hands up, I said, I'm going to back out now, but he's got to move, because one of them was behind me. And
Oh my goodness.
you could hear him move, and I backed out. And I knew right then and there that I had something to be kind of proud of, to be chosen in a sense, where I started a gift and stump and communications with them. So yeah, we believe Dogman's out there. I've heard the Wendigo word and all that stuff. Our woods are crazy. There's a lot of paranormal mixed in, definitely, and not necessarily a cryptid, but paranormal stuff mixed in. And I have a lot of experience with that. So every once in a while, you'll pick something up on your phone that's like, you're like, what the hell was that?
So,
Right.
so Richard, let me ask you something. So, we have these so Bigfoot is kind of like a worldwide thing. Yeah, you see Bigfoot in different they have different names for them, like the Yeti out in Asia, or throughout the world.
Yep.
But then different regions of the United States have different cryptids in its own right. Like out here, Pudwudgies? Am I using the right term?
Yeah. Yep.
Chupacabra is that down southwestern America?
Yep.
Dogman or what's that the Mothman? I know that's big out in West Virginia, Ohio.
Yep.
Near Jai. Why is it that certain cryptids are only localized to certain areas, whereas Bigfoot is everywhere?
Well, Bigfoot's just starting to come everywhere. And when I started this a couple of years ago, pardon the phrase, you could hear a mosquito fart is the term I use. Nobody would ever talk about Bigfoot being in Massachusetts. There was an incident with Joe DeAndre back in 1978 in the Bridgewater Triangle, where he was the one that stuck to his guns. He's the one who laid the foundation for guys like me. He's the one who went to the police station and filed a report. He's the one who got laughed at on the news, and he's the one who stuck to his guns, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to make it very clear that we were about to put Massachusetts on the map. We were about to put New England on the map. And I reached out to other research like the Vogel brothers in Weston, Mass. Heck, Andy's right over in Connecticut, and he comes out with us. Mike Tinsley and Kelly Porter up in New Hampshire. We had guys like that out there. Danny O'Donnell now, who's part of our team. He's in kind of the Northeast Massachusetts region. We can just draw up a spot. Gene Tewksbury's out in Maine. These are people that are part of our team. And we all sat down, pretty much. At one point we had a meeting, minus a few of those names I mentioned, but we were going to put New England on the map, and we were going to let them know that Bigfoot was here, and he's here all the time. This is not a migrational creature. This is a nomadic creature. A person, a primitive human. This is a nomadic primitive human as far as I'm concerned. It's always around, daytime, nighttime, wintertime, springtime, summertime, you name it, it's here all the time. Therefore, wiping out the migrational theory hypotheses that people put out there. As far as different areas go, the Chupacabra, Mothman, Chupacabra, I could understand. Perhaps it's more of a animal type cryptid. Yeah. Right. So animals are found, we don't have a lot of bear population in southeastern Massachusetts, maybe one every couple of years, right?
Yeah.
So you can go to plenty of places and understand why there's not a Chupacabra, right? That's kind of an easy one for me. Mothman, to me, is an incident. I don't see enough data to say that Mothman is a continuation. That's just me. I don't research Mothman, and I'm not taking away from anybody that does. for me, why was it just in that area, West Virginia? Is it in other areas? I don't know necessarily. I have never heard of it out of that area. You're correct by saying that. I definitely have never heard of a Mothman in New Hampshire.
Right.
Could there be? Sure.
I'm
but
sure.
I just, for me, I put it in an incident. And you got to remember this, there's cryptids that if they're not reported, they didn't happen. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the stigma. That's the stigma of Bigfoot. This is why we want people to be comfortable with it. This is why we want to change the research and not be like, if I didn't find it, it's not real. And you shit on your fellow researcher, pardon my phrase, but true. I've been shit on and I didn't like it and it wasn't fair and it wasn't cool to me. And right. I said, I'm going to start up this community and we're going to be good to each other. And we're going to treat each other right. And anything is an option. Anything is on the table. This is a non-discovered, non-scientific field.
Right. And you're into the same thing in the ghost field, different paranormal groups. Egos, people think they're better than other people because they got this, people take ownership of like certain spiritual, I don't know, certain
buddy, and I got to be honest with you, bro. That's when I first started this, I wanted to do paranormal. I had a few paranormal shows. I even did a paranormal investigation collab with Bigfoot and had EVPs and tree knocks all mixed into one episode. It was wild. Cool. But it just got so bad watching what happened with the paranormal world that I just said, you know what? I don't want that negativity around me.
It's a pissing contest. It's pissing on each other.
It is. And part of my story too, buddy, is like you see the name on the NJ, by the way. You see the name on the hat. That's my son and baby Jack. I lost him.
Cheers, man. I'm sorry. That's not cheers, but that's my
cheers to him. How's that? Cheers to him, right?
I'm sorry.
I appreciate it. Thank you. No, so when we lost him, I was quiet. I didn't say not. This is before all this podcast and stuff started, and I just remember being in so much pain that I remember knowing that he could see me. I went, "Oh my God, I'm his daddy. I got to get up and make him proud. I can't just lay here, Right. And I remember looking up, going, "What do I do, dude?" Like I'm talking to him. Hey, but what do I do, pal? What do I do? And he's like, "Dad, get up and tell your story. Be passionate. Follow your passions, right? Yep. Use it as therapy." And I didn't want him to think it was his fault that I was in such pain. That's not fair to him. So I called Bobby Lee, my executive producer, and I said, "Hey," now my executive producer, but because I got another producer named Sam. What's up, Sam? Sam's in the audience. She's the producer of Banter, Richie B, and she's absolutely insane and amazing digital creator. So I called her up and said, "Hey, I want to start a podcast," and she says, "Oh my God, I've been waiting for this phone call. You're gonna be perfect for this." That's what she said. And I remember having my first episodes and sitting in front of the camera and when I got done, it was a rush. I felt like I was in the right spot. That square peg round hole thing went away. And it was like therapy for me. My little guy was right. He did his daddy good. So my point being is I realized it didn't matter what you said to me. You couldn't hurt me. You couldn't hurt my feelings. You couldn't make me cry like that. I was bulletproof to you, but if I didn't want the negativity around me anyway. So I was like, I don't want that around me. I want to build good energy. And I'm not trying to, shit on the paranormal world as a whole. That's not fair, but it's just from what I've seen and what I experienced and what I want for our community. And we only have, I think there's really one kind of group left that's kind of like, old school and kind of, jerks, so to speak. You know what I mean? I won't mention names, but that's what they are. And their way of doing things is on the way out. It's outnumbered already. We hardly even acknowledge it. And we treat each other with respect in this community. And I love it, man. I love all these people on the side of family to me. You know what I mean? They really are. They all know my story.
I know Jai because we both started podcasting with, I'm not going to mention any names, with an individual who's not a positive person. And I finally broke away when he wanted to like take money from people to do that. I'm like, dude, you can't, this is not why I do this. I don't do this to like to go into people's homes and take their money. I do this because I want to like help people and like empower them. And like learn a little bit more and teach them,
Yeah.
Right.
And then we finally had to just cut ties.
Yeah, when we first started investigating paranormally, it was the TAPS days, and we were blown away that they didn't charge any money. And I was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean they don't charge money? And it was because they wanted the integrity to be there. They didn't want you to think making stuff up in their homes because they're going to get money, right? And then it would be, and if you think about it, it's a scumbag thing to do, but it could be lucrative playing that game.
Oh,
but they didn't do that.
Right.
And it's the same thing I tell people now. I'm like, I'm not here for fame or money. I'm
no.
You know, I got a circle of friends and I'm broke.
Right.
I spent all my money on this stuff.
It's a passion, brother. That's about all it is. It allows us to explore as like normal people, so to say, you know.
Yeah.
I'm on a break right now. My master's degree, I'm doing that program. Nice. And I got like 6 weeks off in between. Like, let me plan an investigation. Let's go fucking do this. Let's get out there.
Yes.
I can't wait. It's great. Yeah.
Well, we do the same thing. We can't wait either. I'm fortunate that my research area. So I have a new home in a town next to where I had my first experiences with Bigfoot activity.
What town?
And I'm over in the Middleborough area.
Oh, Middleborough.
Yeah. If you're in Rhode Island, you ain't far. So,
dude, I used to work at Bridgewater State Hospital, so I know that area really.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you're right down in 18. So that whole area. As a matter of fact, they've had two Class A sightings, I think, in the last 10, 20 years, whatever it is.
All right, Class A. We're talking Bigfoot. Are we talking an actual Bigfoot, like visual? Is that what you mean by Class A?
Yes. A visual Class A. Yeah. Class A would be a visual. Correct. Yeah. Wow. There goes one walking by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's very woodsy. It's very rural in certain parts of
it is. But
triangle area.
Yeah. But what we're finding out is through our research is that we don't need to be in Alaska or British Columbia to find Bigfoot. No. We don't need to be in the middle of nowhere. As a matter of fact, we have a way better chance because the miles are less and the radius is smaller. But the activity is very high, and I'm literally, 7 to 10 minutes tops away from my research area, and we have done our homework and followed the activity to this particular location. In this particular location, we've been in it over a year and a half, and you're talking 2 to 3 times a week. So we know our area very well. When a twig is out, I believe in structures. I'm a big structure guy. When there's a twig out of place, we know that twig didn't land. It wasn't supposed to be there. If we have a gifting chair that we use with peanut butter and zingers. That's our thing. And we have wrappers that are peeled open with fingers. Peanut butter jars that are open from the top with no claws, no teeth mark. Oh yeah. I got it all right here, man. I have a whole evidence case right here that we use.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes.
There you go. It's a question for you on the screen, but
hi, Jai. That's
sorry.
my co-host. All right, co-host.
Since you live in Ohio, which have lots of reports, have you heard stories of Bigfoot? Yes, my father actually told me that he saw a Bigfoot behind our house.
Ooh.
There were some trees back there, and then there was a railroad track, and at first, I thought he was making it up just to keep me from going back there, but he swore it was the truth. He swore it was the truth. The question I was going to ask you, I'm trying to think what it is now. I'm getting old. Why have we not ever found a dead Sasquatch? Do you think that they live longer than we do?
I think the lifespan is definitely longer. They don't eat as much shit as we do. You know what I mean? Right. They eat that good, healthy stuff, right? Like I have all these deer bones right here. They're all shattered, right? And all the bone marrow sucked right out of them. There's no big teeth. Wow. There's no big teeth marks. These things are fractured from power. And we have many, many, many of these. So you figure the meat on a venison mixed with the bone marrow is a pretty good diet, right?
Oh yeah.
Plus they, plus grapes and whatever else they can forage and eat, right? Omnivores, as far as I'm concerned, at that size. But the body question is a great thinker. Like you can really sit around and think. And even me as a researcher, I sit around and I go, all right. Well, there are stories. For instance, the Smithsonian had 4 giant skulls at one point that mysteriously disappeared. And what their reasoning was for these things disappearing is that they wanted to bury them with respect and a ritual, some certain ritual. That's what it says. It says it right on. You can look up the Smithsonian. That's what it says. That's their reason. Well, how do you know what ritual it was? Ritual for what? Who's ritual? Right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, you kind of slipped up on that one. Now you lead to more questions. So there were those. I'm big on the giants and all around the area as well. So there has been big bones found, right?
There has been here in Rhode Island.
Right here.
Right here in Rhode Island, 9 Men's Misery. It's far from the King Philip's War. One of the guys, Benjamin Buckland.
Yep.
He was one of the 9 that was slaughtered there. They dug him up often because he had a second row of teeth.
Yep.
He had an oversized head. He was thought to be one of the last of the giants.
Right.
And medical people dug him up in the 1800s. I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah. Sparky says, "Oh, buddy, what are you drinking? It looks bland."
It's Carolina Common by Providence Brewing here in beautiful Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, so take that with your bland comment.
You're bland.
I got you, buddy. I got you. But I think it's a combination of things, right? I mean, how many bear bones do we have, right? How many black bear bones do we have, really? And you know, that you can look at, right? I have the friends, the Vogel brothers. We were out there. Tim Vogel is a ranger for 1,300 acres out in Western Mass. And he took a picture. He's unbelievable, man, right?
Yeah.
So him and Eric, we love them like brothers, man. They're awesome dudes. And they had this deer was dead on the ice, right? Really cold last winter, dead on the ice, right? So the ice should keep it, right? So if you take anything, you put it in your freezer, it lasts longer, right? Well, it was a matter within a week that the whole thing was gone. Bones, hair, there was nothing but blood stains basically left on the ice. And he kept kind of documenting it because of this question. And we've had this conversation. Now think about it. Now there, you don't even have the high heat with the acid of the pine needles. You don't have any of that stuff going on, right? And the little critters, as you can see, these bones, there's no big teeth marks that break these. We believe they're shattered with a forearm. We believe a lot of the Bigfoot structures are actually game traps. So some of them have meanings and all that stuff, but other things are used just to stop the deer and make them think. And then boom, they snap their legs and they carry them off. Now, but you can see that there's little shavings like this, like the little guys come over and get their calcium from these, right? The possums, the other small rodents, right? They'll chew on these a little bit and get their vitamin D. So, and imagine how many times that happens, right? I don't even know how old that is. You know what I mean? Think about it, right? So there's a number of reasons, I think, why we don't find them. They're intelligent, right? We're supposed to be intelligent as humans. A little shitty as of late, but we'll get back on track. So perhaps they bury them, right? They talked about them being so close to the Native Americans that they buried them into the burial mounds because they had permission from the elders to do so. There's talks of that, you know. We don't have a lot of cave systems in this area, but in the cave areas, maybe that's where they go there as well, you know. And to be quite honest with you, somebody has something and they're just not saying. You know, the government has something, you know what I mean? They always have something, right? We have alien technology. That's why all of a sudden we have a B-2 stealth bomber flying around and you can't detect it and all that. I mean, you know, Area 51, like all that's, you know, come on, man. We're not stupid. You know what I mean? And what happened?
There's definitely something going on in the sky, so sure.
Right. Well, eventually they had to come out and say, yeah, that happened. You know what I mean? That's what they did, right? So when is it going to be Sasquatch's turn, right? When is it going to be Bigfoot? I'd rather them just shut up and not worry about it. And I don't hope they don't even find a body, because what happens for us, we feel connected. We feel connected. You know what I mean? Like we show respect to them, you know?
Right.
And again, we're kind of helped with Elder Medicine Bear Claw. She, you know, kind of helps us in that sense. And because she saw us being respectful in the first place. You know, so she would give us guidance and say, hey, you know, try this or say this, you know, and that's what kind of happened. So I guess long drawn out point is I believe there is bodies somewhere. I believe it's a combination of you know, intelligence with them burying their, you know, loved ones. I also believe that it's Mother Nature. I believe that it's food chain. It's a combination, so many things, and you could sit here and list all the animals that don't last very long in the wilderness. And it's funny because bear is one of the biggest animals, and the least amount of bones we ever found was a bear. That's factual, you know what I mean? So it's interesting though, right? Yeah, we do feel safe. Andy goes out there with us. Yeah, I'm telling you, we heard a noise 20, 30 feet from us, and we maybe 40. I don't know, whatever, give or take. Doesn't matter at that point. You're dead if they want you to be. So right. And we took the FLIR night vision, and where we heard the noise, and we have a figure on the FLIR standing there. It was wild, man. It was wild. It was like almost like Christmas light looking at first, and then you could kind of, and then the next one that we clicked the picture of, you could kind of see like a boxiness shadow kind of thing, you know. And then it kind of went back to this Christmassy light thing, and people talk about that's how they cloak, and that's the woo stuff that I'm like, no, I heard something physical, you know. But it was pretty wild, man. And we were right there, and you know, for me, I definitely always carry fear because I've lived a pretty hectic life, so I know how to survive. So you get that feel, but I also know when it's time, out of respect for them, to kind of back off as well. You know, don't pressure them into doing something or making a decision they might not want to make. You know what I mean? So
especially if it's a wild animal, you talking about it, but
I mean,
Rich, let me ask you, in your research, especially around here, around southeastern New England, the Wampanoag are still a factor. What are the Wampanoag natives? Do they have anything to say about the Bigfoot? I know that they've always said that Hawkmock Swamp is spirits dwelling. There's probably some wild ghost stories, but any stories of Bigfoot from our Native American forefathers?
Local? Yeah, no, there has been locally for a long time. I mean, the Native Americans, they are said to live side by side with the Sasquatch, you know what I mean, in Satania, and that's their writings, not my saying. You know, and historically, you can look up all kinds of different things that the Wampanoag and all that around here talk hundreds of years, you know what I mean, about Sasquatch, or they call it, you know, hairy man or the forest type thing, forest people. You know, you could look up the history and you'll see those phrases in there. And where do they come from? Well, we weren't here yet, so they got to come from the Native Americans, the local Native Americans, you know.
For sure.
And I think some of that comes into like I was talking about structures, right? You know, if you go out, you know, Native Americans will go out and they would have to leave the tribe for 6, 7, 8 days, whatever it was, for a hunt, right? They have to gather deer and, you know, food and stuff like that to bring back. And they have these great warriors that went out and did these for, you know, weeks on end, sometimes depending on how much they got, right? Well, they used to do all these different tactics, and some of their tactics were, you know, for instance, like, where's that watering hole? And they would take trees, and I've talked to Elder about this to make sure that what I'm saying is right, you know, and they would snap a tree and let it stay alive, and it would grow, and they'd snap it and let it grow, and it would point. You know what I mean? Like, you know, game trail, or, you know, places to sleep, or water, or whatever that meant. So when you saw one of these trees in your tribe, you would follow them, you know what I mean? And kind of follow these different little structures, so to speak, right? That's what we call them now. And then there's the mimic. And a lot of the Native Americans would be, you know, you got 5 or 6 warriors, and they're coming up on some deer, right? You gotta blend in, right? So one of the warriors over here, he can mimic a blue jay. So he does like a blue jay sound, or, you know, this one over here sounds like can do a squirrel, and he's a squirrel, you know what I mean? And they're mimicking these different animals, right? And we believe, and I've heard them and have had them recorded where you can tell they're slightly off. You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm trying to put into everything into your question is that with the activity through our research, we show that their tendencies have a lot of a Native American tone to it, right? An overtone to it, right? We believe they're mimicking. We have recordings that we can pick them apart, and we can tell the difference slightly from a bird compared to, you know, what we think we're dealing with, right? Wow. And then the structures are a lot alike. A lot of them are kept alive to have messages or point in areas, or perhaps a hut to sleep under. You know, they'll break a tree and have it lay on that like bunch of laurels. They seem to like laurels, which is a water plant kind of, and it's real fibery and it twists and everything. And we find a lot of broken trees laying on top of those. And it's a fresh break, unexplained. I don't want to hear about the magic whirlywinds. I did my research. Trust me, I'm not going there. I already know. I got pictures that'll blow your mind. There's no way that the magic whirlywinds did that. You know what I mean? They just didn't. They just didn't. So, fresh break, laying on top, and you think about it, and you sit there, and after going out to your area a few times and look at it, you're like, oh my God, I know what they're doing. They're making it so that grows out and not up and away from the structure that they're trying to make. So if they have it and they got 5 laurels kind of trapped by this tree, the 5 laurels are going to go like this, right? They're going to grow out because they can't push that thing up. And we see a lot of that tendency. That's not even that's data that we collect over and over again. That's not just one time. And that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of tie-ins through our research and through the history books of the Native Americans in the local area. You getting a phone call from the UAP?
No, I thought I heard something happen behind it, but it's not.
I bet you did, dude.
Yeah.
Every time I come on a show, something weird happens. Telling you, it's wild, right?
I just finished looking behind me.
Yeah,
I thought I heard something too.
I was here a couple weeks ago and we were doing a show, and I here's my studio, but right outside, I'm in my basement. I built a nice little studio in here, but out here is an entranceway that goes outside. And there's a light up there, and all of a sudden I'm sitting here and I'm watching the light. It's hanging a little bit because I was doing construction, so the wires, and it was just kind of sitting there. And I sit there and watch this thing, the shadow and light start moving as I'm talking like this. I'm going, the hell's going on out there? So I look out and the light's swinging by itself, and then poof, it goes off. As soon as I look out, I went like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was in my. You can watch it. You can watch that episode. I wish I could remember which one it was, but I was like, "Oh shit!"
That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have some fun relatives in this area. I got goosebumps. My hair's standing up. We have fun. We bought this home off of Jessica's estate, grandmother's estate, and we believe grandfather the Gomeses, but everything on his tools say CMOG. Because he wrote his name backwards, because there's probably so many Gomeses around this area,
Yeah.
So everything. So we call it like, "Hey, CMOG," and there's Uncle Edgar, and so we have them all here. So we've had poltergeist activity where a plastic drinking bottle flew off my fridge, bounced off the hallway, and landed in the bathroom on the opposite side. It was boom, bang, like this, and there was 6 of us just standing there talking at the refrigerator, like laughing and joking. What the hell was that?
Right.
Oh yeah, it was pretty wild. So I'm pretty blessed to be having that around me too. I'm open to that stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been a sensitive most of my life, and have done readings and mediumship class. And
have you?
Oh yeah.
But do you speak to dead people also, or you just kind of like? I'm not trying to. Do you hear them, or do you?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. So a lot of it with me is the mind's eye. So it's the first reaction to your mind's eye, and other times depends on their strength, and their abilities on the other side to get my attention, So it's, I started getting more into it before I lost my son. And then after that, I kind of pulled back because I didn't want to kind of get in. I didn't want to fall into that. Right. And which is, it could be a conundrum, right? But before that, I had this whole method where I would, get on, ground yourself, stay on the ground, ground yourself, blah, 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 meditate. Meditation is huge and sensitive, being a sensitive, mediums and all that. So I would get into that, but a lot of times when something happens around here, everybody looks at me and goes, "Who was it?" And it's boom. You got to go with your first thought and be confident about it. And understand that that's what's happening. And then when you kind of hit it right, for me, I get the little spins in the belly. Yeah. It's like a spin, I did a reading on a house last time I did one it was years ago, but that whole house was just crazy where my stomach was just, it was like a turbine. Yeah. And this woman was coming down the hall and she was like, "I don't like what they did with the living room." And so I looked at the homeowner. I said, "She don't like what you did with the living room." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I go, she said something about it. It had a fireplace in it. And I go, Where's the room with the fireplace? She goes, "Oh, that's our master bedroom." I said, "Yeah, that's what she don't like." She don't like what you done with the living room, you see? doing all that hanky-panky stuff in the living room. She don't like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's tremendous, dude.
Doesn't do it.
I've seen spirits a few times. This place that I'm investigating next month. The last time we were there, I was just like gazing up. It's a large old banquet hall, and it has like a mezzanine and second floor. I saw a man walking across. I knew we were the only ones there, and the manager was giving a tour to one of the mediums I was with. I just watched this guy walk, and then he walked behind a podium, and I expected to see him come out the other side, and he didn't. I'm like,
never did.
oh shit! I'm like, I think I just seen a ghost.
Yes, you did. Isn't that awesome? though? It's wild because
you see the shoulder movement, you see the head.
Oh,
it's like I'm like looking at a man, and he's walking rather fast, and he's not like paying attention to us down here. And then he's gone. I'm like, I think I just seen a ghost.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what's crazy about it was, for me, I was 7 or 8 years old when I first had an experience with a ghost, and we had bunk beds, me and my brother, and I was on the bottom bunk. And stupid computer, sorry. And I remember waking up, and and it's funny how vivid things come. Like you really feel it. I can't remember a lot of things from 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
But this, you remember the details just embedded. It's just ingrained in your and I always say it's the frequency thing, right? You could burn it into your frequency, right? And you never, ever forget the details of it. And there was a woman standing in my room.
Yeah.
And I was on the bottom bunk, and we had a smaller room, and it was like, maybe 6 feet from me to the door. And she's just standing there, this little thing, and she had a bun in her hair, and she had this little frilly thing on with a brooch, and she was wearing this like black blazer and then like a skirt down past her knee, and it was all like polyester black, and and I remember jumping up and running around her, and I said, Mama, there's a lady in my room. There's a lady in my room. And I woke her and my stepdad up at the time, and they're like, okay, little kid, you're having bad dreams. Go back to bed, I mean, it makes sense, right? So I got to go back. I creep in. My mom gets me back in bed. Nobody's in there. I go to sleep. Well, the very next night, she's still standing in the same spot she was the night before. And this time she takes 2 steps towards me.
Oh no.
And she knows my name. And she has this little limp, and she says, Richard, everything's going to be okay. And I remember her voice and everything. And I get up, run around her, and I go in. I go, Mama, the lady's back in my room. The lady's back in my room, And my stepdad's like, if you don't want her there, you could tell her not to be there. And my mother's like, yeah, okay, it's another nightmare. Go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like good cop, bad cop. So my mother walks me back in, same thing, gone. 3rd night, I wake up again, and now I'm just keep waking up. Do I notice what time it is? No, I'm a little kid. I have no idea what damn time it is. But it was in the middle of the night when I was supposed to be sleeping, and I woke up, and I'm doing this in my eyes like this. I'm doing that, and there she is, man. She's right in the same spot she was the night before. She takes 2 steps towards me, and she comes down on my mattress. And I can still feel the little movement in the mattress as I tell you this story. And her hand came out and rubbed my hair like this. And she said, Richard, everything's going to be okay. And she was so calm and so peaceful. And I just remember yelling, I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of you. Go away. I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of you. And this time I didn't go around her. I went through her. I was gone. So I went in and I, Mama, the lady's in my room. She sat on my bed. She touched my hair. She knows my name. I'm flipping out, right?
Right.
So my mother goes, okay, what does she look like? So I told her. I said, she had a little bun. She's really short. She limps. She's wearing this little thing, and there's a pin right here, Mama. There's a pin. And she kept doing this like she was limping. And then I told her the black outfit. Well, my mother heads for the phone, right? At whatever time. It's middle of the night. All the lights are out. She heads for the phone. I guess I didn't know at the time she was calling my father. So she dials up the number, and of course, back then you got to wait for the brrr. You're a little kid. You're like, nowadays it's like, boop, you're in, right? Back then, give me my snack. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I remember being so excited, waiting forever. And she says, Russ, Richie just described your mother to me right down to her limp and what she was buried in. And I'll never forget those words. I didn't totally understand them because my grandmother died when my father was 13, and she was thought to have malaria or some type of disease. She was wheelchair ridden, and I had no idea what those words, how big those words were going to be for my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And they came back when my father was more of an atheist. He didn't believe in nothing, you know.
Mhm.
And then he bought a house up in Maine, and there was some guy standing in his room. There's a ghost. The place was haunted as shit. There's a family cemetery.
Right.
And now he's calling me going, hey, so you saw my mother?
Right.
And I'm like, sorry, wrong number, you atheist bastard. Click. You know? That's a whole nother story. But my mom and I would have conversations about it, and then I would reach out to other family members. And one particular family member, we were going through the family tree, and we found out like we were related to like Robert E. Lee and all these different tree lines. Oh, it was really cool. And we're finding all these things out about our lineage. And she goes, you know what, Richard? And I said, what's that? She goes, I think I have something for you, and I think it's time that it goes to where it belongs. And she walks up. They live in a log cabin. She walks up. She comes out with this little rocking chair and a Bible. And she says, this is your grandmother's Bible and her rocking chair. And I truly believe that you're the right person to have these. Because I had this connection with my grandmother. And to the point now, my son, Brooks, he's 6. His middle name is her maiden name. So his name's Brooks Walker, you know. So yeah, I've always had a connection with her, and her rocking chair's right in there. And
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It was just wild. Yeah. And from that point on, when I straightened my life out at 26, I got clean and sober, and I said I kind of want to go back and explore that, you know. And that's when I got back into the paranormal and brought my family into it, because I had to understand why she came to me and none of them.
And then, congratulations on becoming clean and sober.
Thank you. It was 28 years Sunday.
You're welcome.
Amen. Cheers.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yep. And
thank
you so much. And the cool thing is, and I always tell everybody this, Sunday, it was my son Brooks's birthday, the name I just mentioned. So 22 years to the day at 12:22 a.m. or so. I might have it wrong because I'm a guy. Anyways, he was born on my 22nd year of sobriety on the exact date. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
I love that. Cool. I think that's amazing. Yeah. And thank you for that, Jai. I appreciate that. It's a whole way of life, and I'm blessed to be living it, you know.
For sure, dude. For sure. I'm sorry for drinking a beer on the show like that.
No, Trent, please. You know what's funny is people do that. I have friends of mine play softball, and they're over there smoking the Chiba. And they're like, hey, you want to hit? And I'm like, nah. And everybody's like, nah, Richie, don't smoke. And like everybody knows, it's just about how I announce it and deal with it. But for 5 years, I didn't go anywhere I would get myself trapped. So I didn't go to like weddings. I didn't go to like obviously bar rooms. You know what I mean? They had there's a saying in the program that, you know, you hang around the barbershop long enough, you're gonna get a haircut. So I was like, I'm not getting no haircut. See, look at it. See, I got a full head of lettuce. We don't need to be cutting that thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm fortunate enough to have it. But yeah, sobriety's been awesome, and it opened up a spiritual side of my soul that I thought was dead. So, and that's the most important thing, you know.
That's good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an incredible journey, Rich.
Oh, thank you.
That's
so
really
much, right? I know. I don't realize it till I sit here on the therapy couch talking to the therapist over here. How crazy my life is.
Right.
I need a ghostwriter.
I'm getting there. I'm not there yet. Okay.
Let me know. No, just kidding.
Well, today I was sitting in my bedroom and I had the door closed, and I heard a bang outside of my door, and I heard something slide down the door. I thought my brother came home because I had 2 packages that came today, so I thought that my brother had come and threw the packages outside my door. So I opened the door up, nothing there, no one there. My brother wasn't even home from work yet. So I don't know what that was today.
So you had a hello, you think, from somebody?
Yeah, from somebody.
What was
Definitely.
what's your first thought when you realized it wasn't any of them?
Oh shit.
Honestly, I just thought paranormal. Like I've lived with it for so long in my life that
male or female?
I don't think twice.
I know, male or female. What were you thinking?
I think it was female.
I know. Yeah, you were. You were, and and it was someone specific.
Yeah, probably my mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And that's what you felt. And that's awesome, and that's great, and I'm sure she probably does that a bunch. Let's put it this way. It's the subtleties. Yeah. You got to open yourself up to the subtleties. A lot of people don't realize that. you know, they wait for this big thing to happen, or, you know, whatever it might be. It's not always like that. And I have found that with research with Bigfoot and the subtleties, and like even Wojo's an amazing researcher, and he was a buddy of mine that we played softball with and against for many, many years. And lo and behold, he was watching my podcast. I'm like, and then he kind of reached out to me after the shows asking me questions. And I got caught up one time. My producer was supposed to go on do some research with me with these particular people, and she her and her son got COVID. So I remember I said, hey, I know Wojo from softball for many years. He's very, very interested. He has great questions. I'm like, I'll just call him up. Yo, dude, what's up? And he's like, playing cards. You know, he's playing cards on I think it was like a Friday. I said, well, hey, man, I said, I was supposed to explain what happened. And I said, I need someone to come out with me. Do you want to go research Bigfoot tomorrow? And here he is, like, probably like, what the, you know? And I could tell there was a little hesitation, but then there was like, yeah, you know. And he did. He got his ass up bright and early after playing cards and partying all night. And it was like 6:00. We were on the road to North Central Mass. And, you know, the rest is history. Awesome. And you watch a guy like that evolve. He evolves because he pays attention to the subtleties. They're key. Like, we have a gifting chair, and he's got 2 golf balls. One's yellow, one's orange. One represents me, one represents him. He makes these different shapes with sticks, or, you know, he has these rocks that he moves around, and, you know, whatever it might be. He's not sitting there saying, oh, Bigfoot said, yo, man, meet me over here at 6. We're going to drop down a 6-pack of Bud Light. He's not saying that. Right. He's trying to figure out what they're saying, you know, and why not? And why not? What do you have to lose? You know? Right. And yeah, no doubt, bro. And what do you have to lose by trying it, right? He has this saying that I hate, but I keep saying it because it makes so much damn sense. If you don't try it, you get 0.00%. If you try it, you get 0.001%, right? Right. So why not try it, right? It's a stupid saying, isn't it? But it makes so much damn sense. F you, Wojo. So no, but that's what I mean, is the subtleties are huge. And it's the same with the paranormal. It's the same when your mom's talking, you pay attention to those subtleties. Because she's talking, she's very much talking to you, very much. And these little things that are happening around your house and that you see here or there, or was supposed to be, and, you know, and you go, what the hell? Yeah, that's her. You know it.
I've been noticing.
Yeah, go with that first right here. You got me goosebumps now, girl. Don't get me spinning on the belly. Don't get my belly spinning. Jeez. I'll tell everybody Buddy's not wearing pants and his box of briefs are purple.
Whoa.
Oh, see? Totally psychic, dude.
I mean, maybe I'm not, but I mean, yeah, wait, whoa.
No Pants Podcast coming to you live. Oh, that's right, Jim.
Podcast, for sure.
The podcast. You got to do radio voice, Buddy, once in a while. You do radio voice?
I just do this.
Well, that's right, Jim. We're going to get down crazy with Jai and Buddy over here. Back to you, Wojo.
Right.
Mix it in.
Hi, this is Jai reporting live.
Right? Okay. Bucky, good night, bro. Great teammate. And that's what's cool, like I was saying, though, and having Wojo there, you know, physically and present, but you have all these other researchers on the side watching the show, and they're part of the show. They're researching. They are researchers, because when I first started getting curious about what I was hearing in my backyard, I went looking on like YouTube and different TV shows and stuff like that, right? He's wearing Miami. And I would look through their cameras, boots on the ground stuff. I'd be like, looking, I didn't care what they were saying even. I was like, oh, what the hell's that? You're looking at the trees or looking at the, you know, looking for clues, right? It was like a treasure hunt, right? So when I decided to go live, you know, I was always recording it, but I'm like, man, I could take this out back and do what I want with it. Nobody's going to believe me if something happens. Right. So I did the YouTube live, right? For an older, I'm 54, man. I'm not supposed to be playing with socials like I do, right? That's why I got 2 producers, though, because I suck. But I 2 amazing producers, by the way. Awesome. And I grabbed that YouTube live and we went out into the woods. And anything we see, you see, we hear, you hear, and we all break it down together as evidence or mishap or Mother Nature or bird. You know, we can have all these different eyes. And we've had the views up to over 13,000 in one investigation. Jesus. Oh yeah, 12 and a half, 10, 10, 8, 8, 8. I mean, it's always, you know, it's crazy how many people come in. And I'm talking all over the world. We've had them. Right. I can't even name all the countries. They all come to my head at once. South America and Germany and Scotland and a bunch from the UK and Australia. Benzo from Australia, he shows up a lot. It just goes on and on and on how many people we have.
Well,
You know,
and what's great about that is like I, as an investigator, I like you hear stuff, you experience stuff, but you're not like looking at the whole picture. You're just looking at it from your own perspective. So when you get somebody who's looking at like the big picture, I don't know. I see the value that there must be some. There's got to be some research value that for sure, because you got people that are like looking at the whole picture while you're just like looking at like
while you're walking down with your screen, right?
Right.
Now imagine if you got it on a 65-inch TV and you got your earbuds in, right? And you hear through the woods, and you're like, everybody's like, what the hell? And they're like, I heard that, and
Right.
guys like Sparky
Right.
will go back and he'll re-roll it, and he's really good with audio and things like that.
Mhm.
And he pulls it up and he goes, hey, it's in Messenger, dude. We got it. Or he'll say, hey, we did not get that tree knock, or whatever the case might be. But
Mhm.
that's the key, is that get everybody involved. And trust me, it's not always great for, the 4K or that ain't happening. Like people call my phone a potato, you know what I mean? Because it kind of comes in grainy and the sound sucks. But it's not me, really. I could have the best damn phone in the world. I'm out in the woods. I don't have all the internet I need out there. And
Unfortunately.
Right.
you can have what you want, but if you ain't got, Starlink, perhaps, at 165 a month, you know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
not happening. So, it's just maybe one day that'll happen. I have no idea. But right now, it's just about the research and collecting the evidence and being upfront and truthful where everybody can see it and know it. And they could try to shit on you all you want, but then all of a sudden you have thousands of friends come in and go, oh no, we were on that live. Oh yeah, that happened.
Right.
You could sit down now. And
Yeah.
and that was one of my attempts in trying to change the research field and the research world. So when they come at you with that bogus garbage attitude, with that negative energy,
Mhm.
they have nothing on our method. Nothing. You can't do nothing. You can't say nothing. You can't do nothing. When I find that print, we go back and we cast that print, and all of it's on live YouTube. We have one that was in the ice. It was like a slushy area that, like, we had a flash freeze the next day. And one of our researchers, Darren, he's like, hey guys, I found a bunch of looks like prints over here. And sure enough, in the slush, you could see this little footprint running around. And then you could, on the outskirts, you see a bigger kind of smush, and all of them weren't clear. I'm not saying that, but it looked like you or I were stomping around the ice. It wasn't like a Bambi or really, what do we really have in Southeastern Mass? It wasn't that one bear that comes through that's all over Facebook and they name him Yogi. I guarantee it wasn't him. You know what I mean? So we don't
Right.
have those. There's
There's
no
nothing
moose.
much bigger than that. Honestly, the moose
Right.
on the moose have small feet too. If you think about it.
Right. On top of that, right? So we don't have any of those things, right? So when we
Right.
saw that, we were like, oh my God. So we just started so we got this dental bone. We ask around. We always go. We have friends that like again, the Vogels, they're wilderness experts. You have something, wilderness question, animal question, you ask them. They're going to bring you back down to earth and have a discussion with you. We have a linguist where we send out the vocals to. We've already had vocals that were approved to be vocals and said to be a language and related to a deaf person trying to make sounds. We have that.
Wow.
We have that authenticated. Did he say it's a Bigfoot? Well, no, we don't know if it's a Bigfoot. Obviously, I'm not hanging out with Bigfoot.
You say they picked earlier on the show, they picked up on hand signals. Do you think that's how they communicate mostly, is by hand signals and maybe some verbal sounds, maybe some unique sounds?
Yeah. So one of the there's a set of recordings that's being diagnosed right now that soon enough the world's going to see it, and you're going to realize that they don't sit 5 feet from each other and go, oh, they just don't do that. That's just not how they communicate with each other. They're not sitting there beating on a tree, you Morse code 3 feet away. That's not what happens. We believe, because of the gifting chair, that they've conjugated up to 4 hours. They conjugated at this thing. They found my recorder. They found my battery. You can hear sniffing, and you can hear other things on there that I'm not revealing yet until I get it 100% authenticated. But there is a different form of communication amongst themselves between each other than an Ohio howl or whoop. They're not doing that. Things, is there a hand signal mixed in because somebody comes around or something and they want to be quiet and they're over here, doing whatever they do? Sure. Well, why not? That makes sense. I learned hand signals in the military, right? I would go like this to my squad, right? Like, let's go forward, right? or I do this, little stop,
Yeah, right.
you can do triangle signals, in other words, set up your formation differently. So yeah, there's probably a lot of those things that go on. There's things that are soft taps. That's the other thing that I learned over time. I would hear these little dum dum on a tree. It wasn't just always banging on a tree. It was like all of a sudden I hear this little, and I'm like, and finally one day I caught on and I went, wait a minute, dude, he's soft tapping. That's crazy. So then I started researching soft tapping, Sasquatch and soft tapping, and I started seeing all these different stories where people were talking about it, that they would hear these soft taps in the woods. So we started doing little soft taps, me and Wojo, and sure enough, boom, we would get vocalization or a soft tap back. But we start learning that, when they don't know, like the little guys don't know, they're messy. Right? Makes sense, right? Probably boys, this is messy. And you can almost tell when the parents are kind of putting them in line, you get a bigger bang on a tree, like, don't do that. That's them, not us, type of stuff. And when you're out in this research area that we have, and you're out as much as we are, they know you and you know them. And it sounds crazy. And like, I'm that guy that thinks everything's Bigfoot, but it's not. I am not. I'm a 95%er. Would you believe that? And I've had him run by me twice from about 60 feet away from me, crashing through the trees at dusk, because I could only see a portion.
Right.
I don't say it 100%. If I have a 40-foot experience and I live through it, then I'll be 100%.
That'd be pretty cool.
And I think that's fair, but I have enough circumstantial evidence right here in my studio that I could put somebody away for life. You know what I mean? For murder.
For sure. So for certain, Rich, have you met anybody, whether it be on your show or in person, that has actually had like a close encounter with a Bigfoot?
Oh yeah. Well, Ernie Davio was one of them, and he's definitely a gentleman you should talk to on your show. But he has had a very up close, personal, life changing experience with them that is completely mind blowing. And he hadn't gone back to this particular location. I think it was like almost 40 years or something. And this past summer, Wojo and I and another friend of his were actually chosen to go back to that place with him and document it. And that's on one of my YouTube live sessions. And the way he describes and explains it, you can just feel his emotion coming out. He almost starts to shake again, and because it was like right there. It was like within arm's reach. And and I don't want to get into too much of his story, but the thing that blew my mind was he felt in the end they kind of came together because they were hunting the same deer. And he heard the deer being mutilated over here, and then one was off to the left, and the thing did a double take. Like, what the hell are you doing here? And Ernie had his gun up at him, and the thing and Bigfoot started kind of slapping his hand, and it was if to say, we're equals, So so and then the rest of the story is amazing. So if you're out there, check out the story of Ernie Davio. That's also on my podcast, but you definitely should have him on your show because Ernie has an amazing story.
I'm always looking for Bigfoot people, Rich. There's not as nearly as many Bigfoot people as there are ghosts or UFO people for sure.
Yeah, no, there isn't. It's a lot. It's a lot more of a condensed community. And kind of hidden in the shadows, so to speak. And I think a lot of the other communities kind of scared us off to where we just kind of ran, no pun intended, into the woods and hid. But
do your own thing.
But like Wojo just brought up too, when we were leaving that encounter, we were coming down the hill afterwards, and we were kind of all giddy about it. And we heard a big knock, bang, off the tree, and his friend Paul, I think Paul might have got it recorded. So it was wild, man. So that area where he had his experience was quite wild. And
that's in Massachusetts. Are we talking?
Yeah, that was Weston, Mass. Yeah, that's where he's originally from. He lives in Kentucky now, but he originally was from Weston, Mass, out by the Vogel brothers, and that's where he had his experience. And we were blessed. I mean, that he asked us to go out there with him and document his return to that spot. I mean, awesome. It's so spiritual for him because it's life changing, and people. Back then, think about it. They're worse than they are even now. You know what I mean? Like you live in a small town. They're like, oh, there's that idiot that thinks he saw a Bigfoot. But imagine the things they had to deal with and the horror. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it's tough guys on social media. You just, you X them out and you move on, right? You block them and you never see them again. But there, it was right in your face.
Yeah,
so guys,
community.
Guys like him are catalysts. Guys like him paved the way for us to do what we do today. So yeah, anytime you need a Bigfoot guy, Wojo would be a great guest for you. Wojo could kind of tell you the other side and how this all worked out for him and the experiences we have as well.
Yeah.
Up and down the list, we have all kinds of good guys that'll show you. And Sam's actually been having some Bigfoot activity around her area for almost a year now too. So she's another one. Yeah, she's gotten into it too and has a gift and stump and everything else. So
Bigfoot gets around. All right, Richie, I want to share a piece with you. It's probably something you've seen before. I just want your thoughts on it. Is it real? Is it not real? Give us your thoughts. There we go. Like I said, I'm sure you've seen this video.
Oh yeah,
probably 100
I've seen
times.
that one.
I've only seen it. I've only seen it once yesterday.
Yeah, he looks like he's really casually just kind of chilling on a cool day. Like, oh hey, how you doing? And
but look at that shot. Look at that shot right there. Right when you just hit that red button again, the YouTube button again. Watch it. Watch when it freezes. It says everything you need to know.
Okay.
Everything you need to know. Ready? Boom. What do you see?
Stabilized.
Boobies. Pardon me, John. You see boobies. Ain't nobody back then gonna go make a suit and say, I know what? I'll make mine with boobies. Because like it's not difficult enough to make a costume back then. Right? Never mind with muscle tones and all these different things, but you're gonna add extra stuff to it? Why would you do that? True. Why would you do that and out yourself and not make? And then some dude did it, like he knows what boobies are like. Come on, bro. Stop. And did you see the guy? He probably never seen a pair of boobies in his life. Stop it.
Yeah.
How many times can I say boobies without getting kicked out of here?
Boobies.
Boobies.
Wonderful.
You know what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah.
There's no extra stuff like, oh, he's got to be real. He's got a bump on his shoulder. Nobody does that. It's not going to happen.
Right.
What are they, paper mache?
People used to say, "Oh, you can see like a zip line in his inner thigh."
Yeah, no,
I don't know. I think the film is a little too grainy.
No, there's better renditions of that film than what is there. They have them where they have it up close and they can see the muscle fibers. You can see the calf muscle. You can see the hip. You can see the tone of the muscle and the quad.
Oh, they never put these videos out there. They only show like of course, this is a fake video.
Well, that's what they like. That's what they like. Look at the world today. They want everybody against each other because it brings up the numbers. That's what it does. Why have one group of people that just believes when 500 of them just believe? You have 500, but if you have 500 who believe and 500 don't believe, you now got 1,000. That's what they love. It's all a bunch of bullshit. So it's just, right there, 100%, that film is 100% real. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way that, and to see them, they go, oh, why would it just act like that? Well, I got to tell you something. With the experiences that we've had, yes, they've run through the woods 100% because we didn't see them yet, right? But we get near them 9 out of 10 times. They just, they'll drop down and just sit there. You can hear the little subtleties, the little movements, and you hear it moving, and you're like, well, stand up, bro. You know what I mean? And they'll just drop. They're just chill, man. They're just walking. If that thing just ran and showed you their abilities, you wouldn't even have this controversy, right?
Right.
Oh, there you go, Wojo coming in.
Yeah,
with
the government is trying.
Good point. Government conspiracists. We get tried. I get shown a few. Well, probably a few months back. I had a guy, big UFO guy from around here, and he showed me this trail. All these like government top level people. Like, yes, there are bodies. Yes, this has been a conspiracy. Yes, this has been a cover up for so many years.
But that's kind of like what I was saying earlier, right? I mean, the UAPs, the UFOs, the same conversation, right? And then all of a sudden now they're coming out and that, aliens are a thing.
Yeah.
Right. So are we left to believe that there's no Bigfoots and they don't know anything about a Bigfoot? Of course they do.
Of course they do. Right.
Yeah, 100% they do. And they know that. And a lot of people in the research community know that. And it's okay, whatever. And it's funny because earlier we're talking about the woo and all that. Would I ever say that like Bigfoot couldn't be associated with aliens? Some of the things I've seen and heard.
Yes.
There's a possibility, bro. There really is a possibility. But
that gets spun a lot, actually. That they're aliens more than they are ghosts. To be honest with you, from what I hear.
Well,
I've
I
seen
mean,
UFOs as well.
no, me too. Oh my God. I see one in Maine a couple of years ago on a vacation at my buddy's place. He let us after we lost my son, he let my family take their cottage right on this water, right on this little lake. And all my family got to go up there and just do R&R for like 7-8 days, class act, right? So we go up there and we're fishing and we're hanging out. I'm out there with my 2 oldest boys and we're fishing and all of us are out at one point and we look up and we see this like an orb looking thing, but it kept kind of doing this pulsation. It kept kind of going like this, and then like this, and then boom, it was gone.
Right.
And that was the one of the on the first night, and then it was just me and my 2 older boys the next night on the dock again, and we're fishing, and it's like 10 or 11 at night, and my oldest boy looks up and he goes, "Dad, that thing's back." And I look up and I said, "Well, son of a bitch, there it is." And I watched this thing; it would just pulsate, and then all of a sudden it would shoot like you couldn't explain how it did it. And then it would pulsate again. And then this time when it shot, like this comet looking thing came off the back end of it.
Right.
And it like fireworks almost came to the ground. And my oldest son dropped the fish rod. He goes, "Nope, I'm out." Boom, in the house. And I was like, "Yeah, they won't take you from in there, bro. They don't want my old ass."
One time when we saw UFOs outside of our house across the street, my mom ran outside and said, "Take me, take me." But they didn't take her.
Yeah.
It's traumatizing as a kid. Why did she want to go so bad?
The life she was living at the time, she wasn't happy with it. So she wanted the aliens to take her.
Yeah. No, I my life was pretty messed up, but I don't know if I wanted aliens to take me. I don't know.
Me either. Well, you got to remember, we were in a haunted house.
Yeah.
My father at the time was abusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went to church. We always had UFOs outside. We could, whenever we dug in our backyard, we always picked up Native American artifacts.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
we were dealing with a
you
lot.
guys got that energy in your lineage, in your heritage. You have that energy, you have that light. And it's funny when people say this stuff to me, like my older brother, he's like, "I don't have nothing ever happened to me." And I call him up and I tell him, I said, "Dude, I think Bigfoot's in my backyard, dude." And he doesn't, there's nothing, there's no reaction. And I said, "Did you hear what I said?" He goes, "Yeah, you said you think Bigfoot's in your backyard." And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, anything?" And he goes, "Dude, it's you. I'm not surprised. I don't know why you call me with these stories acting like I'm supposed to be like, oh my God, it's you." He goes, "This shit happens to you all the time."
Right.
We're chosen. Bigfoot chose me. That's why I look at it. I have neighbors that are all around. No, I had one lady talk about the structures out in her backyard area where she walks her dog, like 2 houses down. And that was it. And I'm out here going, there's no way these people can't hear this. There's no way. I mean, I noticed people pulling shades when I would talk to the woods, but Hey guys, it's me again. How you doing? Hey, I left you oatmeal raisin cookies 3 days ago. What's up? And that's a true story. They came in after 3 days and took my oatmeal raisin cookies, and then I would sit there for another 2 or 3 days, and I got no gift back. And I was yelling out to the woods again, going, "Yo, man. Dude, where's my gift?" I was like really mad. I'm yelling out to the woods. The shades start dropping down again. You know what I mean? The cops are slow rolling by my house. You know what I mean? and then on day four, on the stump, my very first gift, I had 2 saplings sitting on the stump like this because I wanted to make sure a critter didn't come up and knock them off. So I was trying to set up anything I could to be a researcher, And I'm like thinking like if a bird hits it, there was this perfectly torn piece of tree lichen in between the 2 saplings. If you know tree lichen weighs nothing, lighter than a feather, and it was peeled. You could see the back of it. It was peeled. It was the black that it's supposed to have, no bark, no nothing, and it was right between the saplings. I got pictures and everything of it. And I sat and I remember walking up to the stump and I'm going, and I froze and I went, "Wait, there's no way that just landed there. There's no way. There's absolutely zero chance, zero, like less than zero, that thing landed between the two saplings right where my cookies were. It's light as a feather. Why isn't the wind blowing it away? Like, I'm doing all these things in my head. It didn't make any freaking sense. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, it was just nuts. So that's when those things were happening. Like, people were just like, and I'm over here going, how come you guys really don't hear or see any of this crap? Sometimes you're just chosen, right?
Right.
That's okay.
True.
And embrace it. Let the light in and enjoy it.
For sure.
Yes.
Rich, before we break, it's getting a little bit towards the end of the show. Speaking about embracing things and embracing the light, I'm embracing the light right now because it's 4-1 Red Sox against the Toronto Blue Jays. Thoughts on the Red Sox? Where do you think we're going, dude? What do you think's going on?
All right, you talking Red Sox with me?
Red Sox, let's go.
Red Sox. So thank you for the update. I'm very excited to hear that because Toronto obviously.
I was shit my pants. End the season against Toronto and Detroit. And the Yankees kept the White Sox in the Orioles.
Yeah, garbage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But all right, here's my thing. I just need Alex Cora to just back it off a little bit with the overcoaching, just a little bit. These kids got talent.
Yep.
You guys shit on Heim Bloom. You fired him because he filled up your farm system for you and you were done with him.
These great guys, dude.
Unbelievable. Have you ever seen a farm system so loaded so quickly? That guy is a goddamn genius and should get his due. But they won't give it to him. Don't worry. Henry will take it.
He got rid of Mookie Betts. And
that I don't want to talk about.
He broke up by 2018.
That was all you had to do was just keep him and get rid of the other idiot that you ended up trading anyways. If you just kept him,
David Price, screw him. I love Mookie Betts, dude.
Mookie Betts. If you just kept Mookie Betts, get rid of Devers back then, right? Yeah. And just built what you have now around Mookie Betts, you would absolutely be running the AL East 100% every year, no problem. And you're adding these young pitchers that Heim Bloom got you, right? So what I'm saying is the playoffs are coming up. They got to not, pardon the phrase, shit their pants. And
it happens in September, dude. That's why I'm clinching.
I'm
clinching, dude, because we shit our pants so frequently. It's like, oh my god, we're not gonna do it. Oh my god, I gotta find the bathroom. We're gonna shit our pants.
Yeah, exactly, dude. So if Cora just backs off a little bit and let some of these kids, like Wojo just said, throw 90 pitches, whatever, just let them pitch. Like he took out too early the other day. Like he should let the kid go, man. He's a pitcher too, by the way. Yeah, he was adjusting and finding himself. Let him know. Let him find what he needs to find in case we even need him out of the bullpen or something in the playoffs. Because you have a rotation that you're happy with, right? But you're not. He's overcoaching. He always overcoaches with the analytic games. We have 30 leadoff guys every year.
He's a super baseball guy, though. He's a super baseball science kind of guy.
And that's okay. And I can respect that. But you have to reel it back and you have to understand baseball's been around more than 100 years. And talent is what got baseball popular, not analytics. Analytics did not get baseball popular. It did not make it successful. Talent of these individuals playing the game right, like a Nolan Ryan or a Pete Rose, who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Those chess matches between two pitchers that are just dueling out. It's the most boring game ever. It's 1-0, but that one run is so like holy shit pivotal.
But every pitch matters.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm over here going inside, breaking ball inside. Come on, you already got them looking up. Go down and in. Go down and in. You do. It's still a great game. It's still a great game. Let their talents win, and just back just a little bit, dude. I don't need the analytics saying, "Oh, the averages go up after the fourth time through the lineup." Shut up. He got here somehow. It wasn't with you. Now shut up. You know what I mean? Like Nolan Ryan threw 7 no-hitters through talent, not analytics. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all I got to say about that. Other than that, we have a great shot to go deep.
People have been shitting on what's his name, Craig Breslow all year because he didn't go after the money. Dude, our 3 all-stars were all three guys that Breslow picked up. Like you said, Heim Bloom built all the. I don't know. People around here are like so like. I think because the Patriots had so many wins, all the pink hatters are so like about winning a championship. I don't know. I don't know if it's people have no patience.
They don't have any patience. We were spoiled for a long time. And, clearly the franchise has made mistakes. If you got any franchise is going to come back as quickly as this pink hat crowd wanted them to, they had to do it with flawlessness and luck.
Right.
and we didn't do it flawless, and we had no luck. So we're on a 5-year plan, folks. Buckle up when it comes to the Patriots.
Yeah,
you know,
no, I'm also with the Patriots. I'm a Dolphins fan, but
yeah, I know you're a Dolphins fan. What's going on with you guys?
We're tanking for Archie.
Are
Oh
you-
my god, dude!
Are you firing your coach?
That's what everybody wants to happen, but
do you
the
think?
owner keeps saying, "Oh, I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith."
Yeah, but
This is an
listen to-
owner who's traditionally fired after 3 years of failure, has always, and they kept him on for the fourth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they should get rid of Gray. I think they should flush the entire organization down the toilet.
Yeah, he's a bit of a kook too.
Oh, he's
Go
crazy.
Steelers.
Go Steelers.
Oh, get out of here! We
just lost you guys. We
Steelers.
gave 5 turnovers to you guys last week. It was.
That was. A great
We're
game.
running up and down the field on you guys, and every time we're like, we're tired here. You can have it.
Right.
It was
Right.
so front because you all the whole time you're like, Great example, Kyle. Be quiet, Sam. She's yelling, "Go Steelers!"
Steelers, get out of here with
Fun
that.
fact: pitcher for the Red Sox at
Ugh.
Alan Webster went to high school with him. We are very
Oh.
proud of him here in North Carolina. Well, thank you, Alan Webster. You made it to the big show. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah.
Awesome.
North Carolina is a fun town, fun state. A lot of good stuff down there. So, Richie, where can people find you? If I'm sure people will want to tune into your show after this riveting interview.
No, you can check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube. All Banter with Richie B, Bigfoot Banter, Richie B, one or the other. Go check them out. TikTok and Instagram. I do a lot of shorts, and I do a lot of different things with our structures. I put them up there and try to get some opinions. Sometimes I'll ask questions and stuff like, what do you think of this? Or go over to Facebook, Bigfoot Banter, Richie B. YouTube is really where it's at. We're going to go live this weekend, Friday and Saturday, Into the Woods. It's called Daytime, Dusk, and Darkness. Those are the episodes you want to check out. Those are the ones where you're there in the day, you're there at dusk, and you're there in the dark. And it gets wild in this place. So if you don't believe me, go back and pop off a few episodes of the live shows, and you'll see if you. And sometimes they're 2 or 3 hours long. So just go grab a few pieces and jump around, whatever. You're gonna see something.
Doesn't show up after 5 minutes, dude. I mean,
no. Well,
not every show is like Ghost Hunters, you know.
Yeah, sometimes with me. Sometimes we'll walk into the woods and you'll hear a knock or a vocal, and they're like, "Oh, they're letting everybody know we're here." You know what I mean? So yeah, check us out on those socials, and we'll be coming to Media Squatch soon. That's a platform that's got streams all over the world. We're on Dark Realm TV, which is on every Roku television and every Amazon Fire Stick all over the world. And we just we just joined with HLO Outdoors. It was actually a wildlife and hunting platform that wanted some Bigfoot stuff, and they saw our stuff, and they gave me a call. We had a meeting, and Dustin's a great dude. So get over to HLO Outdoors and check that out as well. A lot of good stuff happening. Of course, Spotify and all those other ones we upload too. So our first year, we ended up top 25% visual worldwide on Spotify.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty wild. I got an email about that. I was like, what is this? You know, and they give you this little email award. You can screenshot and show somebody who cares. So I really haven't shown anybody.
That's wonderful. But you got anything else to say to our beloved Bigfoot guests tonight before we wrap up?
I'm just glad to have you guys here.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Jai.
I'm just glad to have had you here.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot talking to you. Yeah. And if I'm ever in the area, I hope to come out and investigate with you sometime.
Yeah, and you can do it over the screen on the screen. If you just like, subscribe, hit that notify, and jump in. Look at everybody on the side. Look at Kurt and Denny and Sam, and they're just great people. They'll welcome you with open arms. And there's nothing is wrong. You cannot research wrong. You cannot give a wrong suggestion. This is an unidentified, non-scientific process. And anybody who tells you you're doing it wrong or you didn't find this, immediately they're gone. And as a matter of fact, if you're out there watching, you are now very much the minority. We don't want you no more. We're doing this with kindness, the way Sasquatch wants it to be. So giddy up. So please, Jai, I'd love to see you say hello on a YouTube some night.
Certainly.
All right.
Awesome.
YouTube, certainly. Buddy, get out here. Let's go, man. You ain't even that far away, bro. You got no excuse.
Like 40-minute drive, dude. I could be to Middleborough. So yeah, I hear you.
I'm gonna come up there and grab my van and bring you down to the river.
Found the Quatch. Yeah, for sure. If you check out any of my other podcast, you know that I do Three Dudes Brews, a beer show, as we talked about sobriety tonight. Check out episode 11, which we plan to release. We're going back to the PVD Brewing, the good people at PVD Brewing. We're doing like a second. We need to do a second, a retooling, if you will. So that will be out shortly. This Saturday, we film at Aleppo Street, Arcane Meadery and Winery. We're gonna dip our toes into the mead world. I love all this fantastic. These beverages are delicious. So tune in for all the good Three Dudes stuff at Three Dudes Brews. Our new website, www.threedudesbrews.com. Check out all of our shit on there, plus all of our merch. Next week, here on the Ghost and the Ghost, join Jai and the Ghost and the Goat. The Ghost and the Goat. Join Jai and myself as we welcome Diane Lupo. She's a tarot card reader. She's a medium. She's a great lady. She used to be here in Rhode Island. She's down there in Tennessee these days, and she'll join us for some readings and some great questions. So tune in, folks, for that next week. Until then, guys, go Red Sox. Holy shit, up 4-1. Sweet Carolina, the top of the ninth. There we go. Screw the Yankees. Have a good week, folks.
Besides that, great to meet you, John.
All right, you